This is
Coming to you from the heart of the Pacific, brought to you by Pauly by Design.
respected at all times.
Broadcasting from San Francisco, California, the city by the bay.
It's about to go down.
We shine on positive Pacific Islander role models every Sunday.
Party on a Sunday.
From 10 a.m. to noon, it's time for the iconic Faika podcast with your hosts,
Listening to
Naki and Carl.
Hawaiians would certainly benefit from less howlers in Hawaii. Many, not just one, but thousands, as Tahitians would benefit from less French, if it can't be no French, as the Maoris would benefit from no Pākehās, as American Indians would benefit from no white Americans, because those people are settlers in native lands, and they are living on stolen land. Now, my advice to Mr. Carter was, you had better learn where you are. Same advice I give to the philosophy department, which is in Hawaii. You are not in some white place, otherwise known as Europe. You're in a native place, and you are living on stolen land. So you have an obligation, number one, to understand the history of that place. And number two, you owe us something. Howleys owe us getting rid of their ignorance. They are so ignorant about Hawaii. Number two, learn the history.
What's up, Naki?
What's up? Whoa.
It's Haunani K. Trask. Passed away yesterday. I didn't hear any of the details to it. I just know that she passed. I know that she was a huge, powerful voice for the Hawaiian sovereignty and Hawaiian rights. But it's a bit of a contemplative 4th of July. It's a happy 4th of July, but we're also looking at one of our spokespersons and advocates, longtime advocate,
Right.
For the Hawaiian sovereignty and rights movement. So, welcome everybody to the Faika podcast, episode 33, season 5. It's 4th of July. We are slightly rested. Had a trip back from New Orleans. We're going to talk about that in our check-ins. Na Opo. We'll talk about Haunani and her life and her celebration of her life. And then in the second half of the show, the back end of the show, we're going to talk about an exciting program in San Francisco with San Francisco Unified School Board Commissioner Faauuga Moliga. And I believe we have an educator on as well.
Professor Ursula Siataga.
Yeah, so we're looking forward to the back part of that show. They're going to talk about an exciting program that is at the right age. I think it's if you're going to teach what they're going to teach, and they're going to have that as part of the curriculum, it needs to be at a certain age. And I think that this is certainly appropriate and timely. It seems to be a whole bunch of Pacific Islander programming and involvement with public policy and government. So that's our show today. Naki, what's good?
Right. Awesome. Good morning. Thank you for tuning in this morning. And then, like we said, we're giving aloha and love to Haunani K. Trask, her family, and to all the, she did a lot of, I was looking at all her speeches this morning, just, going over them again. She gave passionate speeches, and, they said she was responsible for the Center of Hawaiian Studies at the University of Hawaii Manoa. So that's huge. She was just a fighter, a warrior. And like you said, she was just a warrior and a pioneer for so many things. So, of course, we're going to give respect to her and her family. And so it's a huge loss for the NHPI community. So
I think and we wrote about this yesterday on Pauly by Design's, the social media, is there are people out there that are champions for community causes, right? And a lot of people, they're not necessarily known, especially not in mainstream, but definitely sometimes aren't known even in some of the paths that they actually travel.
Right.
So to see and hear a lady of color, a woman of color,
right,
who's holding spaces with presidents, holding spaces with Congress, and talking about land rights and things that were taken from the Hawaiians centuries ago, to see her still, advocating and knowing her history and knowing how to hold space in in governmental spaces with,
Yeah.
I mean, she's talking about having conversations with the president.
Right.
And that's something little known is Queen Liliuokalani. She went to the White House as a person of color in the 1800s. She went to the White House and was able to hold her space and speak her mind, and advocate for the rights of the Hawaiian people
Yeah.
in the 1800s. So when I
Right.
listen to Haunani speak and the spaces that she holds, it just reminds me of the Queen at the time that annexation took place. That's a really interesting story. So if you're going to read history, a lot of Pacifica history
Right.
is written purely from the European angle. There's lots of literature out there about Hawaiian history and Hawaiian backgrounds that isn't necessarily written from the European standpoint. So
Right.
that information's out there. Seeing the videos and hearing Haunani's voice makes me think I need to continue to read up and learn.
Right. Crazy emotional. We found out about it yesterday. And then just having it play over this morning, it just kind of hit me. So there you go. Good morning to Yvette, who is checking in live
Morning,
on
Yvette.
Facebook. Good morning. So, geez, like you said, we just got in from New Orleans. Late last night around
10:30.
10:30, and then here we are, bright and not bright, but
Here we are early.
Here we are.
That's why the
there
show
you go.
started. Show's lagging a little bit on the start. I was lagging on getting here. But I was telling Nainoa yesterday when he picked me up, he was, I didn't know if you guys were going to have a show or not. And I think that I told him, yeah, it's kind of how PBD rolls. We decided on the curb. We decided yesterday, way late. Yeah, let's go ahead and it's the 4th of July.
Do that, right?
There's a lot of reasons to make an excuse to not have a show, right?
Right.
It's 4th of July. It's, all those different kind of things. But we got a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
And there's a lot going on. And we're excited about the topics. And we always got to give our movers and shakers, Commissioner Faauuga Moliga and our educator sister, Ursula Ann, space. So that's one of the reasons. That's one of the main reasons we're in here today, is to make sure that we give space and voice to people that need it.
Yeah. So just Tayal Manuia to Amori, who's checking in from Federal Way.
Morning,
Melody Masaniai. Good morning, sister.
Don't forget your mama.
East San Jose. Brother George from Pacific Vibes said, Chuhu, morning.
George Diploma.
Blessed Sunday. Beautiful start. Mahalo nui, rest easy. Konani, we got it from here. We definitely got it from here. The
Good morning, Auntie.
So is she on? Good morning,
yes.
Mom. My mom was here these last few days. She just went back to Chula Vista, San Diego. She came in. I flew out as she came in. And so she came to hang out with her babies. And then I will catch up.
Grandbaby time.
I will catch up with her later on this week. We went to New Orleans, however you say it. It's a beautiful place. We went there we went there for business, for Naopo, which is a new national group, National Association of Pacifica Organizations. Na means many in Hawaiian, and Opo is Samoan, embrace. So Naopo, many embraces, which I love that name because it's all these amazing organizations that are really doing community work. I love the people that have got together today this week to create this amazing space. The work that is going to come out of Naopo is I'm blessed to be in that space. We are blessed to be in that space.
Yeah, I think we caught each other several times sitting on a couch in a room
Which
with
we
all
always
these amazing
do.
people, and we're looking at each other. In the unspoken words, as Naki and I look at each other when they're talking about how we're going to go to Washington, D.C., and how we leverage the meetings with the congressmen and with the committees and the Senate committees and those kind of things.
Right.
They're having those discussions.
Right.
And Naki and I looked at each other, and unspoken is always going to be, how do we end up here?
Exactly.
How do we end up here in this space? So I think that Naopo is just a piece of the puzzle. There are tons of Pacifica organizations out there,
Tons.
community-based organizations out there that are doing amazing work, and this is
Yes.
no different. This is it's an association. So when you think about the name, right?
Mhm.
Na'opo, I love that. It's not a specific Pacifica language. It's
Right.
not all Hawaiian. It's not all Samoan.
Right.
And that's kind of the heart or the spirit of the organization is it's about all Pacifica peoples. But it is an association of organizations.
Right.
So it's a collaborative in the sense that we can get more done together than
Mhm.
separate. And yeah, I just think that there's a ton of organizations out there. This is one more. It's one more
Right.
tool in the toolbox to help our people improve their quality of life.
Yeah.
And I love the people we're working with.
Right. And we got to New Orleans, and the group, just a big shout out to Papaola Lokahi, who hosted Sherry Ann Daniels and her crew, Sarah and Sharice and just Tammy. They did, they fed the hell out of us. It's
They
like,
did. They
oh my
were
God.
such
Mhm.
gracious hosts. And I
Right.
don't know if Hawaii, the contingent from Hawaii was supposed to be the host, but they were the hosts.
Yeah,
And
they did an amazing
did
job.
an amazing job of, little things like, everybody needed to plug in, right? And then, after an hour of people fighting for outlets,
Yeah.
bang, out comes an
This
extension
hu-
cord with
this
a power
huge
strip.
power strip.
Right.
I mean,
Everybody gets
yeah.
to plug in.
Right.
The food, one of the days we didn't want to leave. We didn't want to break the, kind of the continuity or the
Right.
momentum
Right.
that we had. So we ordered food and we stayed there at the laptops
And banged
working
out
on the
work.
agenda.
Right.
And we just basically looked at a menu online and the
Right.
food just appeared. So shout out to Papa Ola Lokahi,
Mhm.
Sherry and her team, and,
Right.
a different organization is going to need to host next because
Right.
they did a great job, and they set the bar high.
Yeah. So I just wanted to shout out the people that were there and for the amazing work that's going on. Fahina, who's with the National Tongan American Society, ACOM, Arkansas Coalition of Marshallese, which is Melissa Leilon. Of course, Papaola Lokahi with Sherry Ann Daniels, Pikawa, Washington, Pacific Islander Community Association, which is Joseph Saya. Joseph.
Were you guys battling it out? I didn't see.
No,
There's a
Joseph,
truce call for that meeting.
He left his earrings behind. I gave him a pair of earrings.
He was unarmed.
So, yeah, he was unarmed. So there was no fighting these last couple of days. OPIC, which is Oregon Pacific Islander Coalition, and Utah PDX, United Territories of Pacific Island Alliance, Portland, which is Manumalo Ala Ilima, Pecopsy, Pacific Islander Center of Primary Care Excellence, which Adam popped up virtually, and we had Dr. Nia Aitaoto, who was missing, was who is Josie Howard. We are Oceania, and Dr. Reno Samoa. These crazy, amazing people. If I left anybody out, I apologize, but it was just a powerful, powerful few days that, I'm going to cry because it was just so many crazy, amazing people in one room getting the work done. We all goofed around one night and had a good time, play hard, work hard, that thing. Man, everybody is a little goofy in their own way, but when it came to work, everybody just...
Work got done. And what I liked was when there was a certain topic that really had more to do with a certain organization, right? Like the other organizations, if there was two organizations that were talking about a topic, the other organizations stayed involved, they stayed engaged, and they gave input, even though it wasn't their project. You know what I mean? Like there wasn't their specific topic.
Mm-hmm.
You still got input from all of the group.
Right.
And it wasn't like people just walked away from things because it didn't specifically have to do with their organization.
Right.
That feeling of family and community was there.
And I think it was really good getting to, because we've been in meetings with these amazing people for over a year and a half, maybe almost. And so it's been via Zoom and we've seen each other via Zoom, but to be able to meet them face to face and hug, because everybody was vaccinated, everybody tested negative. It was great to get to hug Melissa, get to hug Sherry, everyone there. Fahina.
I love
Fahina.
Fahina.
Is so funny.
I love Fahina because when I met her, she goes, "Oh, you look skinny, like you look skinnier," or I don't know what she said, but she said I look better in person than I do over the camera. So I'm not sure exactly what I look over the camera, but I love Fahina for saying that I look better in person.
Yeah. So I mean, everybody was just, that group is so powerful. And what I love, you can't do this with not just anyone can be in this group. I mean, not because there's a rank or anything, but because they work, the energy is positive. You have Dr. Nia also in there, telling everybody what to do. No, she's very funny, and the group really clicks. Like, we're not into drama. We don't, you know what I mean? We just want to get the work done and leave all the BS behind, which is crazy amazing.
The funniest moment of the day, of the entire meeting, was Dr. Nia Aito gave a look, and the look would be like angry mom, right?
Yeah.
That was the look. And she tossed that look over, and not everybody in the room caught it. Yeah. But you and I and Melissa Leilon caught it. And we were like Smokey and Craig on Friday.
Yeah, we were
Damn!
That really is what happened.
That's exactly. We leaned away from it.
We all looked at each other, and then we were like, damn. But, funny stuff happened.
And other people in the room were like, what happened? What happened? We're like, if you missed it, you missed it. But that was a moment. That was the funniest moment for me the entire trip.
That was very funny. So it was a great day. Excuse me.
A shout out from Daisha Afrotene, new member of the Media Council.
Media Council.
Got our meeting this week.
We have meeting this week. But it was just a great. I can't even put into words the amazing. It was something amazing that you just can't even. You can't even put it into words, but history was made. There you go. History was made this weekend. As Malo put it, was very, very, our ancestors have worked hard to get us into this one room together, and it was dropping hints throughout our, life. And they actually led us all into New Orleans to get this together. So it was an amazing weekend. The food was crazy amazing. My most favorite meal was crawfish etouffee.
Crawfish etouffee.
And cheese
Naki's
grits.
like, how do you say this? I'm like, etouffee. She's like, I love that. Every time we go to a new place, and she'd be going through the menu looking for etouffee.
How do you say this? This is my favorite. Everything I ate was my favorite.
No, that was good, though. That shrimp etouffee was amazing.
Crawfish. I love, and usually I think, the crawfish is going to come all in the body. And I was like, okay, but
you get a plate. So I've been to places where they just bring out, and you ask, do you want a half a pound of crawfish, or you want a pound of crawfish? And you're just getting them plain. So you get a pound of crawfish. That is an entire tray, of these little things with eyes and tails, and you got to know how to crack them open to get the meat out of the tail. Much better to have it the way that you had it. Yeah,
so it was awesome. Na'opo, great things are coming out of now. Great positive work for the NHPI community. Look out for crazy, amazing stuff that's going to happen. So we're meeting up in Washington, D.C. next month to do some crazy stuff.
We're just here to broadcast the revolution.
Exactly. We're just here to broadcast the revolution. So we got to really bond with this crew over the past 3 days. So thank you so much for everyone that was there. We had a crazy time. Storm was happening. We almost didn't get out of New Orleans, or New Orleans, however you say it.
Yeah, we're sitting in the airport, and I've traveled out of that airport many, many times, and I've seen storms roll in to where people are on planes and they have to deplane because the storm hits. And we were probably there 2 hours early. We just ran out of things to do. We had to get out of the hotel. So of course we went to go eat. And then we ended up at the airport probably 2.5 hours early. And Naki's on her computer working, and I keep looking outside, and it's getting darker, and it's raining harder, and it's getting darker, and I was like, we need to get I can't wait to get out of here, get on the plane to move, because they could end up sitting planes down.
Right.
And we ended up leaving late because there was lightning on the tarmac.
Oh my God.
And yeah, we were just like, just get this plane.
Yeah,
in
I
the
just want to
air.
get in the air and off so that we can actually get out. Because I was like, if we get stuck there, we're stuck for at least another day. So there was a hurricane warning in Florida. And so it was starting to storm around New Orleans. A lot of flights were delayed. We were supposed to get in at 8:30 last night, but we actually got in at 10:30. So we got here safe. So that's all that matters. Everyone else got to their destination safe. So thank God for that. But
what was your other than not Opal? What was your favorite part of the trip?
We did go down to
we went down to the
French
Square,
Market,
French Market, and Jackson Square. And then we touched Bourbon Street, and I knew that was going to be a little much for everybody.
Yeah, Bourbon Street was like, it's exactly how it is in the movies, where the street is crowded. There are people up above in their balconies throwing beads down. You know, they're throwing beads down. I'm just stepping over them. I'm like, yeah, no, thank you. No, thank you. And so if you're familiar with the beads throwing, you know what you have to do to get beads. You're supposed to flash them when you get beads, but that was not happening with our crew. So
it was funny. We were walking down the street, and Naki had her phone out and I think she was FaceTiming with her family, showing everybody what Bourbon Street looked like. And I said, you know, when it gets really packed, and it'll be really packed there later that night. I think we were there around 8.
And it was packed.
It wasn't packed yet, but
to me, it was packed.
I said, when it really gets packed, you can't walk. You know, there's parts of blocks where you can't walk, like you're just shoulder to shoulder, and you got to go look for ways around. And I go, then you'll see the horses will come out. The police will come out mounted on horseback to do crowd control. So we went into a restaurant. We got hustled into a restaurant, which I was laughing at because it was not a good restaurant.
Yeah.
So we got sat, and then I can't remember, Fahina or Dr. Nia looked at the menu and was like, we're not eating here. There's not enough choices. So we get up and we walk out. And as we're walking out, there's the horses. There's 2 mounted New Orleans Police Department, and the horses are dancing to the music.
Right.
That was fun because I think people thought the horses were freaking out.
Yeah.
The horses were actually dancing. So Fahina took it on herself to follow the horses because we were trying to go down that way on the block.
Right.
So it's like where the ambulance or the fire truck or the ambulance goes through on traffic, and everybody you try to jump behind the ambulance. That's what Fahina did with the horses and just danced her way through the block.
Yeah, it was beautiful. And I've never seen that. So it was beautiful. So I recorded the whole thing and sent it to my family to watch, and they loved it. And actually, Bourbon Street, I think I'm a little too old for Bourbon Street, even though I loved the bands that were going on. I would have loved to have stopped there if I didn't have, my backpack and just,
Bourbon
just
Street
stop.
is for if you're young or you're drinking.
Yes.
That's really where Bourbon Street's going to click. So
yeah.
Had the crew had a few drinks in them before they hit and weren't packing around backpacks and all that kind of stuff, I think it would have been not as we got there and I could tell people just kind of wanted to move along. We just wanted to get through it, and we ended up eating at Fogo de Chao.
Oh my God. It was
Brazilian steakhouse.
Good.
And that was amazing.
That food was so good. Like steak galore. We had the
Wagyu,
which was, it melted in everybody's mouth.
Cooked dumbbells called Wagyu.
Yeah.
Oh, and then bam, all the phones came out.
We're going to Google this. We're going to Google this. So it was really good. The food was, everything about the trip was amazing. And the architect there was
That was
just,
my favorite part.
My
favorite part is the history and the culture.
Right.
So for as far as culture goes, the thing that I really liked was on the way out, we were in a lift and we came across a funeral procession. And we were about a half a block away, and she just stopped and she said, this is a funeral. And the cars in traffic would stop, and they were marching down the street. There was a jazz, trombones, the whole thing down the street, and people were dancing and laughing, and the hearse was in front. And you could just see the culture. And that was one of the things that I was like, and that was on our way out too. We were literally on the way to the airport. when we came across that. So
Yeah, that was beautiful.
And then the feeling of like, I'm a history geek. Like I love that kind of stuff. So when you're looking at architecture from the 1700s and you're looking at buildings that have been around for centuries, of that stuff. One of the houses where the meeting was, we're right across from a school and a church, and it was old late 1700s. It's just amazing. So that was my favorite part of it.
Yeah, after it, just everything about New Orleans is beautiful, and I just love it. And I think I want Bourbon Street. As we were walking down, I was like, this is the place for my kids, because
your kids would have a blast.
They would have a blast there. They love, they work hard and they also play hard. So that I believe that's going to happen. But yeah, that was a breakdown of what happened this week.
That was our week.
That was our week, really. It was a great week. Also, Monday, we had Koviki Talk, but we can talk about that in the second half of the show. We started a little late, but we're going to go to break.
We're going to go to break. And when we come back, one thing actually, before we go to break, I want to do this is like from the Department of Corrections from last week. Last week, I had noted that the elders segment that we had with Sister Nani and her mother Tutu.
Right.
That program, I said it was from the Gerontological Society of America. The program was supported by a journalism fellowship from the Gerontology Society of America, Journalist Network on Generations, and Silver Century Foundation. So there was more credits to be had to that than just the GSA. They were working on a fellowship with Journalist Network on Generations and Silver Century Foundation. So shout out to the Silver Century Foundation in particular for funding those things. Those are pieces that we want to get into. We are definitely going to move forward with the Elder Series next week. We have another video.
We also have Doris Tulifau with Brown Girl Woke, who will be our in-studio guest. So, and then also the retirement age for California is
federal age is 65.
Is 67.
60, it can be as high as 67.
67.
No higher than 67.
Yeah. So we stand corrected. I'm not really sure who said 72.
Might have been me, but it was said on the show.
Yeah. So,
but that is a concern, right? Is it continues to be raised.
Right. Right.
So that's really it's a good example of how some things get carried away, right? Like it's advancing, and then you think, oh, well, then it must be, start with a 7. It's Social Security age is just under 67 and increasing each year to a max of 67. Right. So that's from our Department of Corrections from last week, and we look forward to another Elder Series video and conversation next week. When we have Doris Tulifau in studio.
Awesome. So our song coming on is Bodega by Us Marley. Please go check them out on everything, Spotify, SoundCloud. Go check out Us Marley Bodega. We'll be right back.
Shit right here, man. It's like I don't even know how to put it in words, though. Feel me? Just let it vibe. Posted outside the bodega with my brothers every night, getting paper. To the bubble pot, gonna chalk that talk. No, I walk that walk, holding it down till I drop, yeah. Posted outside the bodega with my brothers every night, getting paper. To the bubble pop, gonna chalk that talk. No, I walk that walk, holding it down till I drop, yeah. Holding it down till I drop, rolling that loud till I'm up. Done change when shit flop, now tables them try and chop. Bounced around from different spots, top rhyming all in the pop. Power lifting and shifting, I'm busting missions all through the blocks. Slugging them Milwaukee Bucks, glizzy pressure the ups. Change like seasons, they bluff. Spade tie wheels running up, flipping lalas, Nina love your sleeping beauty, them off. Yeah. Posted outside the bodega with my brothers every night, getting paper. To the bubble pot, gonna chalk that talk. No, I walk that walk, holding it down till I drop, yeah. Posted outside the bodega With my brothers every night, getting paper. To the bubble pop, gonna chalk that talk. No, I walk that walk, holding it down till I drop. Yeah, yeah.
Late nights posted that option. All we ever wanted was a lie. On only nothing else, I swear. Used to getting taken, we don't care. Remember days I ain't had this. We posted up by the bodega. You can play every cause on the average. We gon' get to it now and that later. I can vibe if you ain't getting paid. Handle the business, don't worry about hating. Lately I feel I can't do no more favors. Only the family tonight, that's smooth. Can't remember the gotta get to the loop. On the front loyalty, yourself a do. I went through once, she put you on the news. Steppers but humble, hold, don't get confused.
Posted outside the bodega. With my brothers every night, getting paper. To the bubble pot, gonna chalk that talk. No, I walk that walk, holding it down till I drop. Yeah, yeah. Posted outside the bodega. With my brothers every night, getting paper. To the bubble pop, gonna chalk that talk. No, I walk that walk, holding it down till I drop. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'ma hold it down till I drop. Never gonna stop. Gotta stay solid, yeah.
I'm gonna hold it down till I drop. Never gonna stop. Gotta stay solid. Yeah.
There you go. And we're back. That was Bodega by Oos Marley. Check him out on SoundCloud, Spotify, everything amazing, wonderful. Bodega.
Go find him.
Go find him.
Essence of Mana
is offering a free class via
Essence
Zoom.
of Mana is offering free classes via Zoom. They're reaching out to our PI community, and it's still available through Zoom. I think that may change, so take advantage of that if you can. You got to be willing to commit to the 12-week course. That's how long it runs. For more info or to register, you can hit up Lulu Masina at 415-243-6328 or El Masina at healthright360.org. They also have Talanoa Tuesday every week at 7 p.m., hosted by our very own sister Nani Wilson and Lulu Masina. They had, who do they have on? They had Spulu on. And that's a Renaissance man right there. He's an artist. He's a dancer. Does so many different things. And actually, I think he got a wallboard or something in Oakland?
Yeah, his pictures, they highlighted artists from Oakland, and Spulu is one of them. So yeah, you'll see his picture if you're driving around Oakland on a
sure what street, but it's downtown Oakland. Right. Actually, the best way to find that out would be go back and watch Talanoa Tuesday with Lulu and Sister Nani, and I'm sure that they did talk about it. I missed it this last week. I had my Mato Samoa classes on Tuesday night, so
awesome.
I missed it, but with Spulu being on, I'm sure that that's big news. And he talked about where you can find his display in Oakland.
So next up, we have the vice president at San Francisco School Board.
Can't keep up. I just call him commissioner of the school board or school board. I can't keep up with his promotions.
Yeah, he moves. He gets vice president of the San Francisco School Board, Mr. Faauuga Moliga. We also have Professor Ursula and Siataga. How freaking amazing is that? We have two crazy amazing Pacific Islanders that are doing the work in San Francisco, that are running the education, doing everything they can to make sure that our Pacific Islanders get the best education, get all the great opportunities. So we're going to bring them on so that they can talk about the work that they're doing there. The pre-K Samoan dual language program at Loyola Harvard and Bayview that's launching this fall. Thank you, VP Faauuga Moliga, for joining us.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much for coming on. Professor Ursula Siataga, thank you so much for coming on this morning. We appreciate both of you. So tell us about what is happening and the programs that you're creating there to push us all forward.
Definitely. Super excited. Super happy to be here. Happy Sunday, you all. Carlos,
happy Sunday.
It's great to see you both. We are just in an amazing time where culture, speaking about culture, right? And then you talk about our own Samoan culture, specifically here in San Francisco, where we've been doing the work with a lot of other amazing individuals and organizations. And, San Francisco in itself likes to pride itself in being diverse, inclusive, and also you're in a city where there's so many different languages, right? From Tagalog to Spanish to Cantonese to
Right.
and so we're in a place now where we get to expand on the language of Samoans, right? Which is a beautiful thing to include in a city such as San Francisco. And so we've been working on, how to support the cultivation of our Samoan students and families here in the city. And a lot of surveys and feedback has come back from parents and students around language. And folks have asked us why language. And so, we truly believe that language holds a lot of culture, spirit, everything from self-esteem to practices that we actually carry from our ancestors. So it's a very important thing for us as leaders and as folks who are Samoans and the school district. So we're excited. We're here today. We're trying to address the ongoing opportunity gap with our Samoan kids. And myself and Professor Siataga here today want to talk about the Dual K Samoan Language Learner Program kicking off at Loyola Harvard. It's going to be exciting this August.
Yay.
Hey, Professor.
Hi. Thank you so much. It's been a minute. I just brought my housemate to the nail shop. That's what she wants to do on a Sunday, and she's good. And I told her, I was like, we need to go find a tree because I got to hop on here. But thank you so much for the opportunity. So yeah, so we have an amazing teacher. She's been in the district for probably 20 years, and she teaches early education. And so when we're pitching the Samoan Dual Language Learner program, and folks asked her, she's like, yes, why not? Let's do it. And so we're so excited. So it's Epinesa Taylor. Shout outs to you.
Yes.
But yeah, she's going to be holding it down. So the class, how it's going to work right now, definitely moving. Just imagine her classroom being filled with like vocabulary words in Samoan. And when we're looking at the list, I'm like, I've never heard of hole puncher in Samoan. I've never heard of sharpener in Samoan. So this is going to be interesting. I was like, these kids are going to learn Samoan like so early on. And I'm over here like trying to catch up. And so it's supposed to be like, so the instructor would be teaching 50% of the time in Samoan and 50% of the time in English, right? And so right now we're definitely still in the enrollment phases. We're hoping to launch in August. And we probably got 6 families right now, but we're updating our flyer right now through Faauuga Designs with Epi. So our sister is definitely helping support and making sure as we promoted that our flyers look nice and pretty, got the info that's needed, so folks don't get in the loopholes, because we know that our early education department is always heightened with a lot of calls, and so we want to make sure we're trying to help support in streamlining it. And so I know that SCDC with John Enna is helping with the support with the outreach as well. So if anything, we'll definitely share the flyer. But for now, if folks are interested, you can hit any of us up through SCDC, through myself, early ed, it was like EED enrollment at sfusd.edu. So that's the email. But again, when we get the updated flyers, we'll definitely share with the world. But it's an exciting moment, and thank you so much.
This is awesome.
Shout out to SCDC. Appreciate you all. Appreciate you, John and Patty Tito.
It's so awesome to hear the collaboration between different people, and that the names, you know what I mean? Like the community is big, but it's small, right? We know the names, we know the people, we know the work that they put into the community. So 2 questions. One for you, Vice President Moliga. How did it come about from a public standpoint? And because I know that you've been behind the scenes, pushing the buttons, making, this is the kind of the end that everybody sees, but the work that goes on behind the scenes, I know that you've been doing. And then Ursula Ann, from your standpoint, is the curriculum, is this something that we're making on our own, or is there like a program, I don't know, in Utah or, is somewhere else that we're patterning it after, or is it completely, we're going to make that tailor fit the San Francisco Samoan population or people that want to learn to speak Samoan? So we'll go with Vice President Moliga first from a public standpoint and the work that you've put in. Where did this begin, and how do we end up where we're at now, where we're actually seeing it on the ground, boots on the ground, actually happening?
Yep, such an incredible journey, and I appreciate the question because the history of it is very important. It's very grassroots led from the community. We pushed out a resolution with Commissioner Cook and Hydra Mendoza prior to my arrival on the school board. And then we amended the resolution last year in 2020 during the pandemic, which included a thorough list of things that we wanted to see for our students, specifically around Samoans, which included the pre-K dual language learner program, in addition to expanding it out to K through 5. And so, as we build out, we want to continue to build our language capacity, but it is driven through the Faauuga initiative, which is in the NHPI resolution. I'll let Ursula talk about her position currently now at the school district, but there's more to come. This is just the start of it. We have a bunch of other amazing efforts that we're getting ready to work on. We have some opportunities that are currently in the pipeline in terms of folks who are interested in working for the school district. We have a Native Hawaiian Pacific Islander recruiter position that just opened up. We want to be able to roll out our STEAM CTE, career technical education position ASAP. And so we're just excited, but it really came out of the heart and souls of the community members. A lot of folks out there, you all know who you are, showing up to board meetings, advocating, advocating from the back, advocating on social media, prayers, everything. So we just appreciate, this is the work of the people.
Thank you. Ursula, from your end, the creation of the curriculum and the instruction and all those kind of things, are those things that are the players that were listed? Is that completely in their hands, or are there other footsteps that we're following in from other cities or other communities?
Thank you so much for the question. So interesting. So when the goal of launching this pre-K pathway with the Samoan language, the folks that we spoke to was like, we got you. We got there's something in New Zealand. There's something in American Samoa. There's something in, let's look at the Mana Academy. Let's look at all these different spaces that have existed outside of the Bay Area that hold on to something that they built out. And so when we were all in our planning meetings, and I'm like, Ipo, what's up? Or Epinesa Taylor, and we trust her expertise because she's been in the game, and especially in pre-K and early ed. And so we're like, look, we know you're the expert in early education, that specific age group. And we know that level of support. So we know that right now, we know we've gotten like a couple of templates of building out a particular, or what it kind of could look like. But I know that the weave in of like the Samoans that were born and raised in San Francisco, and so we're building out that little extra twist. And so definitely Epinesa Taylor has her team of folks helping him build out the curriculum. But again, we definitely lean on to her on a lot of that work on. She's going to teach the class. She knows how to teach it. And then whatever resources she would have needed, we got her. And I think even with the vocabulary words, like I literally called my auntie, not my auntie, she's my half sister, and she's a pre-K teacher in New Zealand. I say, hey, how do you say sharpener in Samoan? I've never heard it. She's, cracking up. But the support is there. Like everybody would flood. They just like, we just need to know what y'all need. And I'm like, I will revert and defer back to our teacher to see what she needs. But so far, she got it.
That's
awesome. Love her.
Yeah.
That's such a good blend of, we get to tailor it to fit the San Francisco youth, right? But then we have resources and we have help. We have kind of the community outside that's able to provide that. So amazing names on that, that got listed there, and there's no way this is going to fail with the heart and energy
No
of the people that
way.
are involved. So definitely thank you. And it starts in the community, but then it also starts with, and I'll say this all the time, it starts also with having somebody sitting at the table where the
Right.
decisions are being made.
Right.
So when Faauuga is there and the decisions are being made, we have an advocate there. So it's really a lot of things right here that are right the way that it should work. We have a seat at the table, and we have community members that are ready to step up and provide the services. So great example of how it should work. There's an example, or there's a model that other communities can look at and say, hey, those things are working in San Francisco. So thank you both for spending the beginning of your 4th of July with us.
Right. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
joining us this morning.
Thank you, Nike. Much love to you both.
We're so proud. We're so proud of the work that you guys are doing, and we look forward to all the success that is coming for San Francisco School Board. Thank you so much. Have a great 4th. Love you guys.
Love you.
Love you too. Thank you.
What a great example.
Freaking amazing.
Great example. We have somebody at the table.
Amazing.
And he worked his butt off to get it to be at that table.
That's all he's been doing. Really.
But I mean, when he was campaigning, like he was doing the go knocking on the doors, make the phone calls, do all the hard stuff. Like it's not that it's easy, but going to a debate or making a speech and those kind of things. Right. Those may be difficult if you don't like public speaking or you don't particularly like doing that. But knocking on doors, writing letters, making phone calls, hours of making phone calls, asking for donations, man, that takes heart.
Right.
And for him to be where he's at, he's done that because he understands the game. He understands how to play the game and how to win at the game.
Right.
So he gets there. And then the other piece of that, he doesn't forget. A lot of people get into their position and they begin to forget, the community or, what put them there or what helped them get them there. Yeah. So big shout out to the team in San Francisco down there that are doing it and making an example or a template for other cities and other PI communities with CBOs.
Yeah, great work too for Professor Ursula Siataga. So thank you both for joining us this morning. Dr. Nia Aitaoto is checking in on Facebook.
Good morning, doctor. There's a doctor in the house. Happy 4th.
There's a doctor in the house, and all the time we get together, there's like 2 or 3 doctors in the house. But yeah, I don't know. We just had a great time in New Orleans. If we could play
We can't do it.
Yes, we can do this. We can do this. So we're going to take a second to play this video that a commercial.
Let's hear about Kavika.
Let's hear about Kavika. And the vaccine.
That's because.
So we're going to...
What's it called? It's ripple effect.
You
talk about it. We'll talk about it.
Yes.
Everybody needs to have their own internal Faika kala.
Right. That's it. And that's how it starts. That's how everything gets spread. It's word of mouth.
It is in our community.
It is in our community. Everything is word of mouth and the trusted people. So here we go. Here goes Kavika.
Get him, Kaviks.
Today, Kavika got his COVID-19 vaccine. That's because everyone 12 and older is now eligible for a vaccine. Kavika then found a vaccine location for his sister. His sister sent an appointment link to her best friend, who reminded her business partner, who then, well, you get the idea. And it all started today with Kavika. Tomorrow, it can start with you. It's time to let our friends and family know that vaccines prevent nearly 100% of hospitalizations and deaths from COVID. We can do this.
That's awesome. That was in partnership with We Can Do This, a campaign run by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. For more information, please go to www.vaccine.gov.
We can do this together. That's on the way. We're going to do it in the PI community.
That's on the way. So yeah, that was Kavika and his crew handling their vaccine business. So there you go. Thank you, U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. What else we got?
What else do we have?
We have Koviki Talk that happened this past Monday. We had the Pacifica Wayfinders on.
What a breath of fresh air that
Crazy,
was.
amazing team that come out of Piqua, Washington. We had Calcin and Lete
And JR. Who we called Junior for
we
3/4
called
of the
Junior,
show.
and he, but JR, they were great.
That's so
great
PI
bunch of kids.
There's no correction of the older people that are saying things.
Yeah. So yeah, JR and Calcin and Leta, they did a great job. They were talking about how they got vaccinated, why they got vaccinated,
where they
and
get
how
their information.
where they get their information. So if you missed that episode, please scroll back on our page and check out Pacifica Wayfinders that happened on Monday, the 28th.
It also had a little bit of a kind of a different flavor because they were in the middle of that heat wave.
Yes,
and
yes.
I think it was JR that was in a house without air conditioning. And it was 100 something, like 105, 110.
Crazy.
It was crazy weather for that Pacific Northwest group. I mean, like I'm from Sacramento, 105, 110, like it gets that a lot in the summer. 105, 110 in Seattle.
I know.
And, in those areas where it's usually highs in the 70s.
Yeah.
Man, that's crazy.
It's crazy. So tomorrow at 5 p.m., we have Koviki Talk, Pacifica Narrative, the Fijian community, which they'll be debuting their video tomorrow on the Piqua page. We're just going to play a little snippet tomorrow. And then I think tomorrow at 7 p.m., you can go to their page and watch the complete video. We'll also have some guests on there to talk about vaccination in their community and what they're doing to help get the Fijian community vaccinated, because we're doing this together. So I'm looking forward to, I'm looking forward to that tomorrow and talking about the video. So it'll be a good show tomorrow at 5 p.m. right here on PBD and the Picopsy page. Also, on a Tuesday, we have a special guest. We'll be talking to Rena Owens, who is the famous. She's
in Sirens right now.
She's in Sirens.
And then when we were young, we saw her in, like, it's a mandatory movie. If you're Pacific Islander,
Once We're Warriors.
Is like a mandatory view.
Yeah, she'll be on Tuesday at 7 p.m. Check us out here on the PBD page, where we'll be interviewing Rena and how
We're going to talk about Hollywood, right? Like
Hollywood.
What does vaccination look like in Hollywood?
Right.
Are there, because we hear some people are really outspoken, but then are the people we don't hear, are they against? Like, it really
like,
is.
what's the feel? What's going on in the community? And especially she's PI,
Right.
She knows the numbers. She knows how important it is to get this information out. So thank you to Rena Owens, who will be coming on tomorrow, Tuesday. So, that's going to be a great interview. Wednesday, we're on Island City. Download the Dash radio app and search Island City. 10 a.m. You can hear this interview 10 a.m. on Wednesday. So go follow Island City and Dash Radio.
We got a show on Thursday?
No, maybe.
Yeah, we're planning a young influencers.
Yes. Oh, yes. That's happening Thursday.
That's next week. Is it next week? I'm so lost. We got so many shows coming up right now that we're trying to figure out our calendar right here on air. Maybe we should be doing that somewhere else, but there's a whole bunch of shows coming up. At some point, we're going to be doing 3-4 shows a week.
Right.
Either in the Koviki Talk format, the Faika format,
right.
Or one-offs like our one with Rena, which is, that came out of, hey, we should try to get somebody that looks at it from a different perspective, because we don't, we don't see things that Rena sees.
Right. So it's going to be a crazy, amazing week with crazy, amazing people that are trying to help our community get educated, get resources, get better information.
Make better decisions.
We're trying to give you the tools so you can make up your own mind. Just go do it. That was it for that. I don't think we have anything else?
Nope.
Yeah, we're rebranding. We already had started. We went to New Orleans, and everybody was exchanging T-shirts, and so we got our first batch of our Faauuga by Design PBD, new PBD T-shirts that we dished out, forced people to take them.
You take that and you wear it.
So we rebranded to Faauuga by Design. So we've always been inclusive. We've just that we want to be.
Well, we wanted to say it, right? Because we have actually gotten that. We have gotten that where we've contacted people to be on the show, and they said, "Well, but you know, I'm not Samoan, right?" And we're like, "Oh man, we're not."
But we're just we always say we're pushing and promoting positive Pacific Islanders,
right?
And so,
but it says Poly, right? And it has the seal of American Samoa in the back. So get rid of the seal. Have something that is more inclusive across the breadth of the Pacific,
right?
And then make the name more inclusive, because Poly, people could think that's just Polynesian, which we are Polynesian by design. Our DNA is Polynesian.
Our DNA is Polynesian.
It's also Pacifica.
And so, I wanted to give a big shout out again to Naopo for New Orleans, to VP Faauuga Moliga School Board, San Francisco School Board, Professor Ursula Siataga for coming on this morning, for making it a great past 3 days in New Orleans. And so, anything else? Any more shout outs, Mena? Did we leave anything out?
We have two producers in the room today, Nainoa and Mena.
Yeah, so
and they're doing a fantastic job.
Yeah, big hand clap for the both of them. Thank you so much. I believe we're done. And I got to double check. Make sure we cover everything. So again, www.vaccine.gov for more information on We Can Do This. And we will be here next Sunday with Brown Girl Woke's very own Doris Tulifau. And then we'll be going over another Elders series video. And so tune in, catch us every Sunday at 10 a.m.-ish, and come back to Faika with us.
Love y'all.
Shit right here, man. It's like, I don't even know how to put it in words, though. You feel me? Just live out. Posted outside the bodega with my brothers every night.